Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Viney, and this is the beginning of Unit 4. Unit 4 is about something that we call systems. So a system is not just one equation, but two equations. So we are going to be looking at when you have two lines on the same graph. So if you've got two lines on the same graph, there are three possibilities for what happens with the two lines. So the first possibility you can see up on the screen is when the two lines are parallel to one another and they never cross. So there is no solution to that system. The solution to the system is the point where the two lines intersect or cross. And if the lines are parallel, they never cross. Now, if you look down at the bottom, notice that the two equations are exactly the same. Y equals negative 2x plus 1, well, almost exactly the same, and y equals negative 2x minus 1. So notice that they have the same slope, but they have different y-intercepts. So no solution, different y-intercepts, same slope. Okay, now we are going to look at the one in the middle, and the one in the middle is the one where there's one solution. So the two lines intersect in one place. Okay? Now, if you look at the bottom, notice that there are different slopes. They also have different y-intercepts, but the y-intercept actually doesn't matter. What really matters here is that there's one solution whenever there's different slopes. And then the third possibility is really interesting, and that is when the two lines are right on top of each other. So I want you to notice that in the first two pictures, we have a blue line and a pink line. Well, the blue line and the pink line, when they're on top of each other, make a purple line. So there's actually two lines graphed, but it looks like it's only one line. This one has infinitely many solutions, and this time the equations are exactly the same. Same slope, same y-intercept, because the two lines are the same line. Remember that the solution to the system is where the two lines intersect one another. Well, if they're on top of each other, then they intersect in every single point. So there's three possibilities when you have lines. Two lines on a graph. Either they never touch because they're parallel, so there's no solution. They cross one time, they have different slopes, and there's one solution because they intersect in one point. Or they are exactly the same equation, same slope, same y-intercept, they cross in every point, so infinitely many solutions. Okay, now we're going to go to My Open Math. We're going to go to Notes for number 1B, Day 1. Notes for number 1B, Day 1, and we're going to start. So it says, define the solution to a graphed system of equations. Well, if you're looking at the graph, you're looking at where they intersect. Okay? Where they intersect. So click on where they intersect. And then submit. And then move on to the next problem. Now, in this lesson today, we're going to be concentrating on the graphs where they do cross, where the two lines intersect in one point. Okay? So this problem, number 2, it says, is 0, 5 a solution to the system? And then it says, how do you know? So if I go to 0, 5, so I'm going to go to the point 0, 5, and I'm going to put a dot at 0, 5. And oh, okay, that dot is only on one of the lines. So it is not a solution, because remember, in order for it to be a solution, the dot has to be on both lines. It has to be where the lines cross, and it's not. So no, it is not a solution. And it says this solution lies only on one line. So that point is on the red line, it's not on the blue line. So this solution lies only on one line. And then submit. and we go to number 3. Number 3 says, is -1, -5 a solution to the system? Okay, -1, -5. So I'm going to go -1, -5, and I'm going to put a dot. Okay, this time, do you notice that my dot is on the red line and the blue line? It is on the point where they intersect. So yes, it is a solution. So it lies on both lines, and this is where the lines intersect. So we have to select both of them. Those are both reasons why it is a solution. So this solution lies on both lines, and this is where the lines intersect. And then submit. Number 4. Find the solution to the following graphed system of equations. Okay, so remember, when you're looking for the solution, you are looking for the point where the two lines cross. And if you look right there, that is the point where the two lines cross. Now, it says that we have to write it as an ordered pair, as a point. So I need to do parentheses. And remember that when you write a point, it's always the x and then the y. So this right here, that's the x-axis. And then this one right here, that's the y-axis. So if I look at where my dot is, do you notice that my dot is at -2 on the x, and it's at -1 on the y? So if I'm on the x-axis, can you see that that dot's matching up with -2? And if I'm on the y-axis, see how it's matching up with -1? So that dot is -2, -1. When we write or type a point, we do open parenthesis, then the x, comma, and then the y. So I am going to put my cursor here and type parenthesis, -2, comma, -1, close parenthesis, and then submit. And then we go to number 5. The red line is line number 1 and the blue line is line number 2. Use the graph below to find the x value when the two lines are equivalent to each other. Okay, so this question's a little bit different than the last one. It only asked for the x. It didn't ask for the point. So again, I find where the two lines cross. Okay, now remember that this is the x-axis. So if I look at where the two lines are crossing, can you see that it's right there on the x-axis? See how it matches with the point? So the x is 2. Okay, so now I go type in 2. X equals 2. So this question didn't ask for the y value. It only asked for the x value. And then we submit. Number 6. The graph -x plus y equals 2 is shown below. Use the line tool to graph the equation y equals -2x minus 1 on the same coordinate plane. So we need to graph the new line that they're telling us to graph. So we're going to graph this one. So I want you to remember that your equation is y equals mx plus b. And our equation is y equals -2x minus 1. So when you're graphing, you always start with the b because the b is the y-intercept. So b equals the y-intercept. So we always want to start graphing with the b, okay? And then the m is the slope. So then you want to graph the slope, and the m is -2/1, and the b is -1. So we're going to start the graph at the y-intercept. So we're going to start the graph at -1 on the y-axis, and then we're going to go down to right 1. Down to right 1, because that is the slope. So now I'd like you to click into the add work, and I want you to type y equals mx plus b. Y equals, what was it again? -2x minus 1 negative 2x minus 1, y-intercept equals negative 1, slope equals negative 2 over 1. Okay, now we're not ready to submit yet because there's one more step to the problem. It says use the dot tool to plot the solution to this system. So we're going to go to the dot, and the solution, remember, is where the blue line and the red line cross. So that's the solution, and now we are ready to submit. So we graphed the second line, and then we put a dot where the two lines intersect. And then we're done with the problem and we submit. Number 7. It says solve the following system of equations by graphing on the coordinate plane below. If there's exactly one solution, write the solution as an ordered pair in the form x comma y. If not, select the appropriate answer. Okay, now, remember what I told you before. In this lesson, we're doing one where all of the systems have one solution, so the two lines cross. So the first equation is y equals negative 2x plus 2. Our y-intercept is the plus 2. So we start at 2 on the y-axis, and then the slope is negative 2. So we go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, and we put a dot. So we have now graphed the first line. The second line is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1. So our y-intercept is the negative 1. So we put a dot at negative 1 on the y. And then our slope is negative 1 over 2. Remember that if the slope is negative, you go down and then right. And remember that the up and down is the top number, the numerator, and the right is the denominator. So we're going to go down 1, right 2. So we go back to our dot, and we go down 1, right 2, and we put a dot. Now, where do those two lines cross? They cross right here. And what point is that where they cross? So let me get my pen again. So this right here is the point where they both cross. Remember that this is the x-axis. So if I look, do you notice that it matches up with 2 on the x-axis? So when I put in my point, it has one solution, and it's 2, comma, and then I need the y. Remember, this is the y-axis. And it looks like it's right there on the y-axis, and that's negative 2. So 2, comma, negative 2. Okay, so now I click that, and type parenthesis 2, comma, negative 2, close parenthesis, and submit. Number 8. Okay, number 8 is the exact same question, but this one's interesting. So this time it says y equals 1 is our equation. So if you remember, we've done these before this year, but it's been a while. When it's y equals and that's all, it's going to make a horizontal line. So we go to where y is 1 and we put a dot. And we can't go up or down because if I move up or down, I'm changing the y. But I can go across. Notice that I'm still at y equals 1. So that's my first line. My second line is x equals negative 3. So I go to where x is negative 3 and I put a dot. Now, if I want to stay where x is negative 3, I can't go left or right. If I move to the left or to the right, I'm going to be moving my x. So this time I'm going to go up, and there we have it. There's my two lines. So now, where do those two lines cross? Well, they cross right here. So now this is my x-axis, and it looks like it's at negative 3. And then this is my y-axis, and it looks like it's at 1. So they cross at the point -3, 1. So there's exactly one solution, parenthesis, -3, 1, close parenthesis. And notice that where it crosses is the numbers in the equations. That's because one of the lines was horizontal and one of the lines was vertical. That always happens when it's one horizontal and one vertical. Submit. Number 9. Use the line tool to graph any system of two equations that has a single solution of -3, -5. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to go to the point that is the solution. So we're going to go to -3, -5, which is right there. Okay, now we just need to make a line, any line that we want. So I'm going to do that one. Okay, then we need to go back to our original point, -3, -5, and we need to do a second line. And so it doesn't matter, just so long as it's not the same line. And there we have it. And you just graphed a system where the solution is the point -3, -5. And submit. And then finally, the last question. Wyatt has $12 and begins saving $7 each week toward buying a new phone. At the same time that Wyatt begins saving, April has $72 and begins spending $3 per week on supplies for her art class. So then we have to draw both of these graphs. Okay, so let's start with Wyatt. Wyatt has $12 and begins saving $7 each week toward buying a new phone. So he has $12. So we're going to go to the $12. Now, it says that he starts saving $7 per week. So we have to count $7 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then over 1 week, and we put a dot. Did I do 7, 1? Oh, wait a minute. It's going by twos. Clear. Let me make my screen bigger so we can see it. Okay, we put a dot at 12. Then we have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and over 1. Be careful with that. I had to be careful because they were going by twos. Now, the reason that that line is going up is because he's saving money, right? So he's gaining money every week. Okay, now it says, at the same time that Wyatt begins saving, April has $72 and begins spending $3 per week on supplies for her art class. So Amy has $72 and she's not saving, she's spending. So it's going to go down 1, 2, 3 every week. So now notice that both lines cross, okay? So it says show your solution graphically, which we did. That's our solution right there. Then it says after how many weeks will they have the same amount of money? So it's right there. So if I grab my iPad, where they cross is right there, and it looks like we're at 6 weeks. And it looks like we're at $54. So at 6 weeks, they're both going to have $54. Okay, 6 weeks. They're both going to have $54. And we submit. And we are done. And now you're going to go do homework 1B. All right, everybody, have an awesome day.